So the last 2 weeks I've been traveling from London to Vegas to bring you guys a great camera comparison between the Huawei P30 Pro, S10 Plus, iPhone XS Max and also the new Sony A6400. Sony invited me to London for the release of the new Sony RX0 Mark II, and we're gonna start today with a comparison between the P30 Pro and the new mirrorless A6400. So follow me around London and let's check out how good the camera of the P30 Pro really is. So before we're gonna have a look at the image quality, let's check out the video quality, as this is my main use case. Overall the video quality has been improved, but it's not quite as good as the video quality in the iPhone XS or the S10 Plus. Full HD 60fps is looking good in general. There are nice colors, okay dynamic range and also good stabilization. When slowed down by 50% to 30fps, it is looking really smooth and stable. When you compare this to a DSLR or mirrorless camera like the A6400, then you will see some differences, or at least feel them in post-production. There's a big difference in dynamic range, as you can see in the sky, and also the color tones. I really love my Sony cameras as they push out super natural colors, but on the P30 Pro you see that the colors are looking okay, but a bit too artificial. Sharpness and detail could also be better in 1080p as it looks a bit soft. Now here is some footage straight out of the phone without any editing. In Paris I did hit the road with my buddy Elias Schwärzler on a specialized e-bike and I was filming it in 1080p 30 on the phone. The footage looks not too bad, just a bit soft and sometimes the phone is a bit slow in adjusting the exposure, but still it's doing pretty okay. There you can also see that the stabilization compared to a DSLR is pretty good at 30fps. I also went for a speedboat ride and compared the video quality to the Sony again. Colors and dynamic range once again is a big difference, and also if you have a look at the footage on the PC in full screen, you will see more details, especially in the darker parts on the Sony. Last but not least, some 4K footage from the P30 Pro handheld with both lenses, and you can see it's actually looking pretty good, but there is no 4K 60 on the P30 Pro. The reason for that is that the Kirin 980 does not support 4K 60 recording. There is no software update that can fix it, and that is actually a shame, because the iPhone XS looks really good in 4K 60 and also the S10 Plus. So we now took a rickshaw and went on a photo tour for London. So let's check out some amazing places.
So guys, we're right now here at the Piccadilly Circus and it's a really nice place, but it's not too big. And here the wide-angle lens comes really handy. So I have a pretty wide-angle lens on the A6400 right now, but also the P30 and the Galaxy S10 Plus feature a wide-angle lens. So I'll go to this spot here right now and take some pictures, and let's compare them.
If you have a look at this picture, then you can't really see a big difference at the first look. Dynamic range is great, but it's a bit better on the Sony with also more natural colors, and the amount of detail is crazy good on the P30, and if you zoom in, you can see that the Sony is just a little bit better, but the sharpness here is also coming from the really expensive lens on it. But still, it's quite impressive how close a phone comes to a 2000 euro mirrorless camera, right?
Alright, so right now here in Chinatown, and as you can see, really beautiful balloons, and here we'll try out the zoom. So we'll go from wide angle, from the spot right over here, and switch to the zoom lens and zoom down the road and check out if we can still see the font on the balloon, the text and everything. So let's do a quick comparison.
First I did a wide-angle shot, and it's so hard to tell which picture is from the Sony and which one is from the phone. I'll now give you guys 10 seconds to decide for yourself. So, let's go! Now you probably guessed it wrong, but no worries, I did too. It's so crazy how close they are. Details in this shot almost the same, white balance, colors and even dynamic range. But one thing that really sets it apart is the integrated zoom lens. I didn't bring one from my Sony as it's really big and heavy, but let's see which results we can get from the P30 Pro. I went from a 5 times lossless zoom to a 10 times hybrid zoom to a 30 times digital and 50 times digital zoom, and the results are incredible. You do notice that after 10 times it gets lossy and blurry, but having the ability to zoom that much wasn't something that I thought I will need, but now I really love this feature. You will notice a bit of blurriness and too much sharpening, but it is incredible what a tiny phone like this can do. To get this from the Sony, I would need a really big and heavy telephoto lens. We then went with the rickshaw to the Harry Potter theatre, and I've recorded the ride in 4K on the P30 Pro. It comes pretty close to the A6400, but again its color accuracy is not that good. I really love log recording on the Sony, and this is the only thing smartphones can't properly do right now. But also check out the stabilization in 4K, it has improved a lot.
So guys, we're right now here in front of the Harry Potter theatre, and the guy from the rickshaw just told me they are playing here Harry Potter all the time, so this is really crazy. And this building is really tall, the place in front of it is very small, so here the wide-angle lens comes really handy. So let's take a few pictures with the A6400 and the smartphones, and let's compare them.
So when you check out the whole picture and do it on a small screen, you barely notice a difference. There's a bit of exposure difference due to different metering, but still both really good quality. Now let's go a bit deeper and zoom in. On the Sony there is plenty of detail, really good looking edges without too much sharpening. On the P30 Pro there's a lot of detail as well, but it's a bit too much sharpened and looks artificial. Where the real big difference is, it's in the outer part of the picture. The wide-angle lens of the P30 Pro loses here a lot of detail and gets blurry and distorts the picture. The Sony with the big lens keeps here all the sharpness and detail and looks really clean, but usually you cannot really see that as long as you don't check out the picture on a big screen and zoom in. The same is also true for the main camera with the 27mm lens. Outer parts are slightly less detailed, but color, dynamic range and sharpness in general, under good light, comes very close to the A6400.
Hey guys, so we're now here at Covent Garden, and I now changed the lens on the A6400, so I'm now using my G Master from the A7 III. It's an f2.8 lens, 16 to 35mm, and it's really convenient for vlogging, but I just noticed that if I put my microphone on the camera I actually can't see the screen anymore, which really sucks. So this is a marketplace, the rickshaw guy just told me, and we'll now take some pictures again, some more close-up pictures, and yeah, let's compare the image quality. So let's go.
So when it comes to closer shots, the P30 Pro comes even closer to the A6400. Without knowing which picture is the real one, I would probably have a hard time guessing. The only difference is the more realistic bokeh, more natural colors and a bit softer edges. A little bit too much artificial sharpening on the P30 Pro. But it's crazy what it does with the background. On the picture here, it pulls a lot more detail from the back, but still the statue is lit up perfectly. So Huawei's AI is doing a crazy good job here. What it can't match is the amazing bokeh of a G Master lens. Look at this close-up. For sure you can create a software bokeh, but it will never be the same.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're here at Trafalgar Square and we'll take a few pictures of that statue right over there to test the zoom a little bit more and also check out dynamic range, because we have a really bright sky and as you can see the subject from this side is a little bit dark. So this is actually a good test for the zoom on both smartphones. So let's go.
So as you can see, even in tricky lighting situations, the P30 Pro is doing really good. It keeps the subject dark until it takes part most of the screen and then switches the exposure accordingly. So the zoom also works in tricky lighting situations and I have to say it's not bad at all. Now during my time in London I met this crazy Czech guy who does vlogs and his name is Thomas. So I asked him if he could be so kind to be my model for a few portraits, and here's the outcome. Now when it comes to regular pictures, it is incredible how close the P30 comes. But sometimes there is a bit too red skin tone or some red color in some pictures. That's probably due to the new RYYB sensor, but I'm pretty sure that future software updates will fix it. I didn't bring a portrait lens, so I was taking them with 35mm f2.8, but still it shows that the bokeh on the P30 Pro in portrait mode looks a bit unnatural. I mean, it's perfect separation from the background, even the hair, but it doesn't feel natural. I really prefer a regular taken picture over this anytime, but some people like the looks. Anyway, with the Sony and a good lens you can get great real bokeh shots with even foreground bokeh, something the P30 Pro will just do via software, and it can look good but also look weird sometimes. So last but not least, some food photography. I was eating in the Oxford Tower in London and I took a few pictures with the Sony, but then the battery died, as always with Sony. Anyways, let's just check out how the AI of the P30 Pro brightens up the pictures in food mode. I really have to say, even though there was no light except a bit of natural light from the window, the pictures turned out really good on the P30 Pro. And I really noticed during taking them that the AI does some processing, as it was showing food on the screen. So basically the phone does the editing I would do in Photoshop or Lightroom later on the PC internally, and that's pretty cool. So overall, I'm pretty impressed by the camera's daylight performance. It is really versatile, tiny and powerful, but can't match a DSLR or mirrorless camera with a lens that is made for the exact purpose you want to take pictures. But there's a saying that the best camera is the camera that you always carry with you. Only the video quality isn't as good as other phones right now, but that will be a topic for the upcoming comparisons. The next video will be a DSLR camera versus the P30 Pro at night in the Wiener Prater, so stay tuned. Also big thanks for watching. I guess nobody watched until here, but if you did, you are awesome. Thank you so much. As always guys, I'm Steven from Tech Magnet and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.